Excel accounting practice problem. Set up Excel worksheet part number 4. Get ready, because we're about to excel. Here we are in our Excel worksheet. In prior presentations, we put this information together from a blank sheet. So if you want to go back and work from a blank sheet, you can. If you have access to this worksheet, then we'll have 2 tabs on down below, the example tab and the practice tab. Example tab, in essence, being an answer key. Let's take a look at it now. On the left-hand side, we started out by constructing the area that we're going to be putting the journal entries, the debits and credits, the transactions, then the trial balance with 3 columns. We're going to be posting the trial balance here, giving us a quick look at the impact on the accounts and the balancing process to see how the double entry accounting system works. Then we're going to be constructing, and we are at this point in time constructing, the general ledger accounts, giving us the support, the backup data information, breaking out the activity in the accounts by date. Let's go back to the practice tab. This is what we have thus far. Now I'm going to start off here. We left this area kind of blank. I'd like to make that blue. That's where the data input's going to go, and we've been making that information blue. So let's start off there. We're going to go then to the home tab, font group, make that blue, which if you don't have that, it's in the drop down. It's in the more colors area. In the standard, there's the blue. The accounting is fun blue. That's the channel. So font group, and then we'll bracket that one up. So there we have it. Now we left off with our general ledger accounts over here. We're now focusing in on the liability type of accounts, these type of accounts. So let's first copy the same format of the GL, and then we'll adjust it to a liability type. So I'm going to put my cursor on the skinny here, on the skinny column, and then drag it on over to U. I'm going to say Control C or copy and put that in V and Control V and paste that on down. Now I need to color code it a little bit differently here. So I'm going to then, let's try to get a side by side with our information on the trial balance by taking our skinny column here, left clicking, selecting it and dragging on over to the U, and then let go, right click the selected area, hide. So we got the side by side. We don't have to do the scrolling around thing. And one way I could try to do this is I could put my cursor on this one possibly, go up top and say home tab, clipboard, paintbrush it. And then I want to make this color coding like that color coding. And then I can reformat this saying this is going to be equal to the accounts payable. I'd like to center this across here. So I'm going to right click on it and say, let's center that. Let's center it. It needs to be like me, completely centered at all times. And then we're going to say the journal, we're going to say, and the alignment, we want to center it across the selection, and then OK. So there we have it. Let's center these ones too. We're going to go up top, home tab, alignment, and center those items as well. The beginning balance might be coming from the beginning 0. They're all going to be zeros. And there we have it. Let's then take this formatting and format paintbrushy it right on top of the next one. So we're just going to format paintbrushy it, home tab, clipboard, paintbrush, and brush that paintbrush right there. Now that we got the paint on the brush, we just put that paint where we want to put it, right there, making it orange. That's what color paint that we had. And this is going to be Visa. So we'll take the Visa, and then what we'll do is put the beginning balance here equals the beginning balance, and that's going to be right there, which is of course 0. Let's do it one more time for the equity. So let's take the skinny column, take the skinny on out to column Y, Control C, put that on down, paste it down on the Z, and let's do it again. So this is, now we've got the last liability, which is the loan payable, and the beginning balance is going to be 0, but we'll pull that in from this 0, making sure it's in column G, not column I. And then finally, we got this equity account, which is blue. So I'm going to do my paintbrushy, home tab, clipboard, get that blue paint on my brush, the blue paint on my brush, and then I brush this, making it blue because I had blue on my paintbrush. And then this is going to be equal to then the equity area. And then we'll center this out again. I'm going to select these items, right click on it, format this thing, and then alignment area, horizontal, center it across that area, por favor, which means please. I'm pretty sure. I've been practicing. And then we're going to center here, home tab, alignment, and center. And then we're going to basically say this is going to be the beginning balance right there. And there we have it. Wonderful. Okay, so now let's unhide what we have so far by putting the cursor on column I to W, because the hidden cells are in between there. So we've selected across the hidden cells, right-clicking, and unhide. It's time to unhide now. There we have all the stuff we've done thus far. So now we'd like to put our check figures up top. And so what I'm going to do up top is try to put a check figure right here, and so that we have a nice check figure. So how could we do that? I'm gonna delete the journal entry or the GL right there, and I'm gonna say delete that, and I'm gonna just sum up all the ends of the accounts. Now I would like to sum up at the bottom so that every time I enter a transaction, then it's going to be included, meaning I can't sum up using this number because it's 0. When I add the transaction here, it will be incorrect. So what I need to do is sum this thing up all the way down, have a running balance. The running balance will simply be equal to the prior balance plus the entry, which is a simple formula, and that is due to the fact that I only have one column for the debits and credits. If it was a debit, it would be a positive number, increasing it. If it was a credit, it would be a negative number, in this case decreasing it, because we're talking about a debit balance account. So then I can just take that formula and then just copy it down. I'm just going to copy that down to the bottom, and that last number is what I want to put in my balance. So if I had this 100 up top and then I had a negative 50 or something like that, then the 50 runs all the way down to the bottom, and I want to take the bottom number as my check figure so that I don't have to resum them up each time. So that's going to be the general idea. I'm going to do that the same kind of thing all the way across. I'm going to say this one equals the one above it plus the one to the left, and I can copy that formula down to the bottom. And then it's the same all the way down. So we got that running balance. The balance runs down to the bottom, runs downhill like water does to the bottom. So there we have that. And then we pick it up right at the bottom. Once it's at the bottom in the bucket, we pick it up in our summing balance. So then the next one, let's do that all the way across. We're going to say this is the one above it plus the one to the left of it. We're going to run that balance down, run it down the hill, and there we have it. We use gravity in our favor here. We use the force of gravity to run this balance down the hill. Run it down the hill right there with the autofill. Autofill runs it down the hill. So we got the one above it plus the one to the left, and autofill runs it down the hill. And so we got the running balance. One more or three more times. We get to do this 3 more times, which is a pleasure. So here we go, a couple more times here that we get to do this, and then we have to stop because that's all the accounts we have, but we will do it most likely in the future at some point again. So don't be sad. We're going to copy this one down too. Okay, so then now we've got those ending balances for our check figure. So if we go to our check figure, I'm going to say this equals the ending balances, which is going to be this one. This is a tedious formula, so be careful. This one at the end, plus the end of this one, the one at the bottom of that hill, plus the one at the bottom of the inventory hill, where the balance ran to, because it followed the gravity, plus the one at the bottom of the furniture and equipment hill, plus the one at the bottom of the accumulated depreciation hill, plus the one at the bottom of the accounts payable hill, plus the one at the bottom of the Visa hill, plus the one at the bottom of the loan payable hill, plus the one at the bottom of the equity hill, and enter. Now you might say, how do I know if that balance is correct? It's kind of difficult right now, but notice once we start entering data, if I had like 100 here, 100 here, the other side has to go somewhere. It would go, see that's out of balance now. It needs to be 0. The other side would go into like accounts payable, a negative 100, or say we got a loan, would be a negative 100 here, and that would net out to 0. So this should always be 0. That's our check figure. It's the same check figure. I'm going to delete these items here. And what did I do here? This is this plus this. So we deleted those items out. I didn't mess anything up. So that's the same check figure that we have here. with our running balance this way. We're checking them independently instead of tying them together so that we can have this nice double check that will allow us to basically look at the double entry accounting system two ways. So then what I want to do up here is I want to do the same formatting so that if it's out of balance, then I'd like it to turn red, and then we get scared. The world is bad, because it's red, things are red. So we got to say, what's going on? But then if it's green, then the world is good and everybody can be happy. So we're going to go down here and format paint that. So if I can go up top, home group, we're going to paintbrush that one, brush the paintbrush there. So now if I was to make this like negative, like 100, so now it's out of balance, it's red, and everybody needs to be, scared and whatnot. We've got something needs to be done. Something needs to be done around here. We can't have that redness. But then, and if it's negative 100, same red. But then if it goes back to 0, then the world is good, and it's 0. So that's good. So there we have that, and so that's going to be basically our starting point. So let's just format a little bit more. We're also going to have another check figure later on that I'm going to put here, which is going to sum up the income statement accounts, and then I'll tie that out to what is on the net income here. But there's nothing in net income because we don't have any income statement accounts. That'll be another kind of check figure that we can have. So I'm going to say this equals this number minus this number, which if it's proper, then that should be 0. And I'm going to format paint it again, and that won't help us until we get income statement accounts here. Format paint it, same kind of thing. So if that turns red, then we got something has to happen. We got to fix something. We got to fix things around here. But if it's 0, then we can relax, go to the beach, whatever. So there we have it. So that looks good. And normally I did, let's highlight this whole space and make that black and white, so that we could see that's all one kind of GL. And I guess we can keep the GLs. Usually I had less GLs across the top, but I guess that's okay to have them on every space just to indicate it's the same thing. So that looks pretty good. I think we're good to go. So next time we'll actually start using this to record our beginning balances now, which are going to be here into our worksheet. As we do, we're going to try to think about what problems we might have like in an accounting software system, so that we can, if it was like a database program like a QuickBooks, so that we can try to address those problems and see how we enter that into Excel to see kind of like the behind the scenes, constructing it in an Excel worksheet, but also thinking about, what are the needs of like a database program and what is it doing as we construct these items as well.